So good afternoon. I'm eating lunch. So just a few more remarks that I want to record. Like just even just for the documentation reasons regarding the first specimen of the fly of the full metal jacket that I was captured. They didn't capture. In video I didn't touch it. Earlier today. And the things that we see actually are, like all the sagas, like the different kind of, I hope that it's clear to you, that you see it the way that I see it, that the different sagas that we will record, like the different series, they are related to each other, the fairy tale and and the Ziggurat of Ur and the robot saga and the energy saga that I need to conduct the fifth. Yesterday I was too tired for that fifth chapter, but I will record the fifth chapter very soon. But so you see that are related, the question of the relation between the neurons and energy. So what you've seen just now, the video of the fourth specimen, it's kind of, it gives you strong hints of that. In fact, yes, there is a very strong connection between the neurons as a kind of as a substance, I would say as commodity. I don't think of them as commodity. That's I always thought about it as as a sentient creature, like a civilization, but not like as commodity, and that they not like things that you eat, but like things that manufacture other things. And that's one of the main differences of my approach and the approach of the Israelis since 100 years ago and probably until today and probably all over the world. It's a different approach, but when you watch such a thing such a punk flies in your room, you understand it. Yeah, it's for a reason. Maybe it's not for that reason, but there are reasons. In reality, visual reasons. Very concrete reasons that, because of those reasons, people, including the Israelis and including the Venusians themselves, they associated these robots, even though maybe they didn't even know that they are robots. They just so it's like material, elixir, something like a substance. So, and they associated this substance with energy, and yeah, obviously there are reasons, there are kind of just by watch the thing fly, it weighs a lot. I don't know how much this one weighs, but I can tell you that the ones the dead one that I have, it weighs much more than a comparable bag of the same size, the same volume. And of course it is, because it's made out of it's super strong material, probably metal of some kind. So in order to fly, it really, it only makes sense that it required tremendous amount of energy related to regular flies that from Earth of the same size. So they needed this energy from somewhere. So anyway, I'll speak about it more in the next video. So regarding this just short remarks regarding this bug. So first of all, it was the largest by far of the four. So they are only getting larger. It'll be interesting to see how large they can get. And this one is really, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, people that, I think that in Israel you cannot find a larger flyer, like bug, a larger insect, but maybe I'm wrong. But not commonly. I've never seen a bee that's that big in Israel, or wasp. Never. Maybe there are bigger other insects in Israel. Not to my knowledge. I think I like to hike both in Israel and abroad, and then done quite a bit, and I think I've seen quite a bit of the wildlife of Israel. Even I consider myself as an expert to the wildlife of Israel. And that it's the diversity of wildlife in Israel is mostly mostly not in the insect family, but most the diversity of the humanoid types is overwhelming, and much more than you would have thought, and much wider than in any other place in Earth. But so the humanoids are the most all sort of the zombies, the wizards, the hybrids, so many different humanoids that I mean, the first class Titans, the second class, the second generation, the third generation Titans. Like I mean, so many of them humanoids. But I'm not an expert to the wildlife of Israel, but I don't think that there are bugs much. I mean, insects much bigger than that. Again, in other places in the world, of course, there are. I mean, I've been like, for example, like I've had, as I said, when I was 21 or 22, I had like a trip in South America, 2.5 months, and so specifically in Bolivia, you can see. I mean, in Bolivia, I've seen like one night in Bolivia, I slept in a room in a hotel that was not yet completely built. Like it was a hotel near the river, adjacent to a river, like a strand of the Amazon River. I mean, one of the many strands of the Amazon, but they didn't like it wasn't finished yet. Probably I chose it because I mean, as all Israelis, I mean, of that age, I mean, and they travel like both South America and Asia, like India and North Asia. I mean, they tend to be very cheap. Like I mean, extremely cheap. I mean. Even in a way that antagonize like the locals, like because they are known like that for many decades that they are super cheap. Like I mean that they always like I mean, unlike like European travelers that are you rarely find Americans or Asians, but you can sometimes see European travelers and they are I mean on average much older. Like they are on average something like 30 years old, and like the Israelis are 22, 23, 24, something like that. And they spend much more money, like and they travel for much less time. Like Israel is like 2.5 months is not much, like compared to what I mean is customary in Israel for in this age. Like people do it for even for a year sometimes, and so travel much less time, and they spend on average like on each day much considerably more money. Like Israelis are super cheap, and so I mean, you need this context maybe like if you could ask yourself so. What the hell were you searching like in a hotel that I mean one without the fourth wall? I mean literally there was no fourth wall not in, like in a theater but in real life. Like imagine a hotel with that I mean one wall is just not built, and this was the wall that was I mean that was like I mean facing the river, obviously because I mean it should have like at least look like something decent from the street. So the wall to the river was not there was no like think like this of this room, like this is the door, like this is where you sleep, but this window is not a window but just I mean an empty, like no wall, empty, and there is a river like I mean very close to it. So I thought okay, well okay, I mean it looks fine, like so why not? And I wasn't the only one, like it was another guy in the room, like it's a two bedroom room. So we thought well, I mean why not? I mean it looks fine, but I mean so during the night it's actually getting much more interesting because like there is like a million different bugs that I mean are also like I mean find like I mean your room is a nice place to to spend the night in. So like I mean if you wake up like in the middle of the night or like I mean early morning, like I mean you find yourself like I mean sharing the room with a million like roommates, and some of them are actually much larger than the one that we've seen now. But you learn from such experiences. Like I mean, next time you choose a hotel, maybe I mean you just check that the room that you like all the four walls of the room are there actually. This is a real story. I mean, everything you said is like it's not a metaphor or something. It's just like that. It just happened like that. And don't be super cheap. Like even if you are young, don't be. This because really it antagonizes the people. Like I mean, then they hate you. I mean, I remember that I once thought like I mean I wanted like to search for the cheapest meal like in a restaurant like with several courses like a real meal with several courses like I mean main course and side dish and things like that in a like a restaurant, but the cheapest possible like that can like you can actually get like. So I was searching for it. It was while I stayed in Cusco, which is the center for many activities, and including the famous hike to the Machu Picchu, or in one of the villages in the vicinity, but in Peru. So I mean, So I mean, after some time, I went like out of like the region when like most of the people like the tourists are staying. Like I mean, so because I wanted it to be super cheap, like the cheapest possible, and like so eventually I found a place that I mean served like I mean like complete meals, like complete it was lunch during lunchtime and complete meal with several dishes in. I think it was, I don't remember if it was like 1 sol or 2 sol. I think sol is the Peruvian. I think sol is right. Is that right? It's not peso. It's sol, if I remember correctly. Which was like one shekel or like 2 shekels. I mean, at the time it was like like I mean 50 cents. This was the cheapest possible, and so you ask how was it? It was disgusting. It was actually disgusting. I mean, unsurprisingly, it was. I mean, if you actually like make an effort to search for the cheapest meal possible, like I mean, and it will most probably be disgusting, and it was disgusting. So what I wanted to say about this fourth Full Metal Jacket is that, as I've said it in the since I mean I start to kind of like I mean to describe this life form, it's not a quick flyer, and you've seen it all. I mean I try to take like a video very close to the body so you can see the size, but I mean it's not a quick flyer. Just I mean when you're very close to it, it looks like it looks like it flies quickly, but from afar, like even like 2 or 3 meters like away, you see that it's not a quick flyer. You can very easily catch it. Like I mean, I could have catch it if I wanted, but I don't want to do it. And this, of course, I mean, I would suggest that this implies that its predators are not that quick, and also not that smart, but probably, I mean, most certainly, I mean, they have like I mean, teeth from hell, like I mean, or like I mean, that they are super strong and they have like teeth that are, I mean, like diamonds, like I mean, super strong and sharp teeth, but they are not smart and not quick. And this also, I mean, they direct us to the new direction that I proposed during the last couple of days, that this is not actually a bug from another planet, but it's a bug from Earth, but from prehistoric times. And that I'm certain you can find like fossils of this guy, but you cannot know what it's made of from the fossil record. That's the problem with fossils, and in general the problem with paleontology, but we'll speak about it more in another video. It implies like a situation, like I mean, our environment that I mean, the creatures are not that smart and not that quick, and this to the best of my knowledge is actually sits well with, I mean, imagining this insect as like prehistoric, like I mean, you know, kind of like I mean dinosaur insect, or like, you know, something like that, like I mean, and so like I mean, where the Earth was filled with like not that quick, like they didn't have mammals at all, and like I mean, and mammals are, I mean, they are quick and in general much smarter than, I mean, all life forms that predates mammals. Like I mean, even super mammals are pretty smart, like I mean, relative to other life forms. I mean, yeah, there are exceptions, like I mean, the cephalopod. I mean, also like I mean, no, octopuses that are not mammals and they are very smart as well. So yeah, you don't have to be a mammal in order to be smart, I know, but I mean, mostly the smartest like creatures, both on land and in the sea, are mammals. Mostly there are exceptions. Like that's also like I mean, octopusi, or whatever you call it, like in the plural sense. So it was a land that was probably, I mean, like Israel today. Like I mean, dumb lizards, stupid, slow, and disgusting, and with very sharp teeth and claws, and you know, and muscles, and like I mean, like Israel of today. It was probably the environment that I mean, in prehistoric time of the Earth where this creature existed. I mean, it exists now here as well, but I mean, when it was last seen in Earth. And also another very interesting thing that relates to, I mean, that you can see now with this video more than before, is that when it flies, his legs are, I mean, you can see that I mean, I mean, they're hovering like, I mean, like they're hanging pretty low, and I don't see any kind of like, I mean, in any kind of like interest like, I mean, for such a fly pattern. I mean, out of the fact that they are just heavy, so they just, I mean, they just fall down. But but maybe I'm wrong. But in any case, but I mean, in contrast to that, the tail is actually keeps always like that. Even though you remember that, I mean, the tail is made of like a relatively very big, very long strand. That's why I compare it to the mud dauber, because the mud dauber wasp is the closest that I've seen until now. Like, I mean, in Wikipedia or YouTube or whatever. Like, I mean, I've searched for all sorts of. I mean, there's so many types of wasps and bees and hornets that maybe there are others that are more similar to this one. I mean, but this is the contemporary Earth insect that, I mean, until now. I mean, if you have any other candidates, please, I mean, comment because it's interesting. But I mean, of what I've seen, like, I mean, and there are so many of them. Like, you know, you didn't know that there are so many types of wasps and hornets and bees, and they look very different and huge, like, variety of sizes and shapes, and it's actually like, I mean, it's very diverse. So the one that is most similar to this guy, I mean, from appearance alone, is the mud dauber, and so I mean, so it's like the tail is made of very long and very very thin strand. Like, I mean, like a hair. Like, well, it's almost like, I mean, it's probably in the width of a hair, like human hair, like one hair. And in the end, it's like there is a very big tail, like considerably larger than that of the mud dauber, and considerably heavier. And I can tell you that, I mean, both the tail and the strand, like, they cannot be separated from the body easily. I mean, it's still connected, like in the specimen that I have. Even after, like, I mean, I tried to cut it with a knife, with a Japanese knife, and it's not cut. It's incredibly strong, both the tail and the strand that connects the tail to the body. Now, it's also, I mean, the tail is also heavy, because, of course, I mean, because it's big and of course made out of metal. So, but you see that it always keeps, like, I mean, like in horizontal position, like a flying, I compared it to, like, I mean, so I mean, previously I said that maybe this tail is used like for balance, like, I mean, like a lizard, like the T-Rex, that, I mean, the running T-Rex. You know, T-Rexes are not like, I mean, in the past they were, I mean, described like a like in standing position, but they were, I mean, in modern, like the modern understanding of Tyrannosaurus Rex is that it didn't stand like on two legs like a bipedal, you know, like a human or like an ape, but it was like, I mean, it was more like, I mean, yes, it stood on two legs, but I mean, the huge tail and like and the long neck and the huge head were balancing each other, so it was like all these parts were horizontal, like, I mean, in parallel to the ground, and that's what it enabled him to move, like, I mean, to pretty quickly, even though he was huge. So I thought that maybe it's like that with this bug, and we've seen it actually in the flight. That yes, it's kind of like, I mean, it keeps the tail always like keeps, like, I mean, in like in stretched position, like, I mean, in parallel to the ground, and this most probably helped with the balance of the flight. But it's interesting. But I mean, it means that I mean, in order for this to actually happen, it requires like muscle tension, like, I mean, consistent muscle tension, because otherwise, why shouldn't, like, the tail, like the bulb of the tail should just fall like to, I mean, like down, like the legs are like falling, like hanged. So why shouldn't it hang like down? So this requires, like, I mean, the actual strand, to be not only extremely strong, but extremely durable, but also it must said that, I mean, there is like incredible muscle tension in this very thin strand, because it needs to always be, like, I mean, it's like the muscles must be continuously be, like, I mean, like in use, I would say, like, in order for the very big tail to be kept, like, in a horizontal position during the flight. This is also only amplified by the fact that it's such a long strand. So, I mean, even more, like, muscle tension is needed because, I mean, you know, the Archimedean principle of, like, of the, you know, the lever, because it's like a huge lever. So this I think this implies that this is actually, I mean, that like I don't know if it's got like a biological name, but I mean, this strand, this very thin strand that connects the big tail to the body, like I mean, it's like a human. It's the size of human hair. It's actually an incredible thing. Like I mean, probably it will be amazing to watch like in a very good microscope, or maybe in like an electron microscope, because it means that I mean, it's not only incredibly thin, it's almost invisible and incredibly durable. It cannot be cut like even with a Japanese knife. It means that I mean, it must be like I mean, it should contain like I mean, very complicated muscles in order I mean to be kept like in tense like form all the time. Like I mean, or at least wherever this guy fly, like all I mean during the fly. I mean, so it must be like I mean, incredible like work of engineering, like to see what's inside this very very thin strand that connect the tail to the body. Okay, so that's it for now, and hopefully I will continue with the art very soon, and also conduct the 5th chapter of the utilities saga.